Hey, welcome class. In this video, I briefly want to take a moment to just overall help you understand the 1.03 child labor project. In case anyone has any questions or you're a little confused, I just want to take a few moments to explain it a little bit better. So this is what you will see, the 1.03 project guide. In this project, the basis of the project is ultimately my desire is for you to become much more aware of an issue happening all across the world. It does happen in America, even though you might not know it. It happens in all areas of the world, and that is the issue of child labor. Now, in our sessions and in your readings, you've kind of came and you found one specific common interest in areas where you see child labor, and that is simply the fact of poverty. I mean, if you think back into any point of history, you can remember that in times where we saw more children enter into the workforce, it was in a time of poverty. It was in a time where our nation was in need of help, and we go to the children. You can look back into times before there were even laws about this. Depending on what the job was, children were smaller and could maybe go into the nooks and crannies of the mine or in the workshop. We fast forward a little bit more in our history. You can remember during the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, even though there were some child labor laws, so to speak, put into place, we started finding ways around it. And again, keep in mind, America was in the Great Depression. People and families started finding ways to still use and exploit children. They put them into, for example, Hollywood. Think back of any movie or movies that really were brought up during the Great Depression era, and you're going to see a large number of children enter into Hollywood. Also, they might be jockeys riding on the horse, different things like that. We started seeing child labor fall into our history again. Now, if we look into the grand scheme of the world, there are numerous places all across the world where children are being used. Many of you might hate school, but school actually it is a good thing. Not only does it help us kind of learn about different things, but it also offsets the reality that prior to the law that you have to go to school, you were going to work. Now, some of you might say, I love work. Well, that's great, but oftentimes children, when they entered into the workforce, they did not see a raise in the level of the management leadership skills. Oftentimes children were put into places, and that was kind of the bare minimum. Now, today in our world and society, we see child labor in all different grand schemes. You might see child labor being in the form of sex trafficking or trafficking for workers. You might see them working in sweatshops in different areas of the world. You might see them in the fields. If you go into some areas, even in America, you might find areas of child labor working in the fields in California or different places all across the world. So in this project, you get to choose however you want to present your case. Via that be a PowerPoint, a Google slide, a research paper. Maybe you enjoy making brochures or want to do your own podcast and act like an interview and explain these issues. However you choose to do it, my goal is for you to research and find information to help bring this story to life. Because to me, the interesting thing about child labor, it is the pictures and the images of the child. It's them. Their story is what needs to get out. So in this project, you get to choose how creatively, what do you see? Do you want to just do a PowerPoint slide and maybe target different areas of the world via maybe the migrant worker or workers in sweatshops? Maybe you want to target it with hot commodities that are needed in the world. Maybe you're going to focus in on the technology aspect. Maybe you want to pull out different things. However you see and want to discuss and dive into child labor, it's up to you. The simple parameters of this assignment is simply the following. You need to find a way to tell a story. Using images, stats, support your project with valuable facts, valuable research. And in this, I want you to address the following. What are some ways and causes of child labor? What role has globalization played? In other words, what ways have globalization or maybe technology or different things encouraged child labor, even though that's not something we tend to want to think about? What impact has this had on families and communities where child labor exists? Like we've discussed, child labor usually exists in areas of poverty. Well, how is this created, and what is this doing to the family dynamics? Where is child labor taking place? What are the industries that they're employed? So maybe focus in on maybe 3 industries, and that's going to be where the focal point of your research takes off. What are their hours? Are they working 2 hours here and there, or are they working 12, 14-hour days? And ultimately, what organizations are working towards addressing the issue? So for the most part of your project, I want you to focus in on just telling the story, give some of these child labor. Maybe if you want to give them a name, but follow the stories of a few lives in child labor. And then ultimately at the end of your project, I want you to research and find, are there any organizations out there trying to address this problem? If you watch TV, sometimes like I do, Law and Order, numerous different TV shows, hit and miss, will discuss areas such as child labor. Are those groups trying to go in and investigate and, finding ways to fix this, to bring this issue out? So I hope you enjoy and find this project interesting, and you are able to look at the resources as you see. We are providing with some. Make sure when you do have, bring in some of these resources, make sure you're citing your sources. So I do know that the information in this project is legit. And then keep in mind that this is a major project. But again, it's your choice to how you want to tell the story. And the focus is just telling the story and helping bring to light one of the world's greatest issues that has been ongoing for years upon years, and that is child labor. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me, email, text me, call me, and hopefully I can help answer any other questions. But hopefully this video helped a little bit. And I'll look forward to seeing what everybody comes up with. Thank you.